You're listening to the Palestine in America podcast. I'm your host, Nader Ahmoud. Joining us today is American Basketball Association player, Jordanian national team player, and former Palestinian Premier League player, Laith Zalloum. Thanks for joining us, Habibi.
Yeah, me, أهلا وسهلا, Habibi. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Man, so when's the first time you picked up a basketball?
Bro, okay, so it's actually kind of a funny story. I've always been tall. When I was in the 7th grade, I was about 6'1", and I got cut from my school's team. And, of course, I just sat there and cried in front of everyone and got bullied even more for that. Luckily, I got picked up. Luckily, I got picked up by this team in Jordan because I was 13 and 6'1", 6'2", and it was called the Applied Science University team. I started playing there when I was about 13, and it just went from there.
And so you still currently play for the ABA team, and you mentioned earlier before we got on this that you own part of the team. How did that come about?
Yes, sir. So I've been in the ABA for about 3 years. I played with the Jacksonville Giants, which have been ABA champions for 6 times in a row. I played with the St. Augustine Glory, and last year I played with the new team called the St. Mary Bucks. We actually had an amazing startup here, and I grew very close with the owner, Josh Barnett. Shout out Josh. So me and him were having a conversation recently when I was injured. He asked me if I wanted to come on, and I love Josh. I love everything the team stands for. We have an amazing community program. We want to do so much. We want to do so many good things for the community. So it was honestly a no-brainer. The second he offered it to me, I just grabbed it.
Where's St. Mary's located?
So it's called Glen St. Mary, Florida. It's in Northeast Florida, really close to the Georgia border. About 30 minutes out of Jacksonville, where I live.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But
so you're born and raised in Jacksonville?
No, sir. Born and raised in Amman, Jordan.
Oh.
17 years. I moved here when I was 17.
And your parents, how long have they been in Jordan?
So my father was born in Kuwait when all the Palestinians left to Kuwait.
Yeah.
And they went, and he was there, finished high school there. Then he came to the States, and he was in the States for about 14 years. Went to University of Central Florida. Went back to Amman in 1996 when my grandparents had moved out of Kuwait with all the Palestinians to Jordan. And it just went from there.
When did your parents bring you out to the U.S.?
When I was 17.
So that's when you were talking about when you got cut from that team. Oh no, you were 13 in Jordan playing ball then.
I was in Jordan.
Okay. Wow. So you were hooping in Jordan. So what made you pick up a basketball instead of, I know out there they play soccer a lot.
so the first thing is I've always been really, really tall.
Yeah.
I'm 6'7" now, but I didn't have that growth spurt where I was 5'8", and then all of a sudden I'm like that. No, I was always huge. I got bullied a lot as a kid. I got bullied a lot for my size, for just for a lot of stuff. And my father thought that sports would be a great avenue for me to express my frustrations and basically let everything out of me, just so I can, just so I can express myself, and just so I can be more of myself, live a healthier lifestyle through sports. And when I started playing basketball, I just wanted to lose some weight.
That was the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal was just to be healthy.
There was this one man. I love him. His name is Ihsan al-Qawasmi. He's from Khalid too. Ihsan al-Qawasmi. I love Ihsan. When Ihsan saw me, I'll never forget this night. I was 13. I was 6'1" or 6'2". I'm not sure. And I went there, and he's like, ليش بدك تلعب باسكت يا عمو? Why do you want to play basketball? I'm like, لأنه بينادوني برج خليفة they call me برج خليفة, and they bully me. He's like, برج خليفة عندي, أنا بدي برج خليفة, جيبوا لي برج خليفة, bring me برج خليفة. And I had a lot of problems with my confidence as a kid. I like I had so many self-confidence problems. And that was, apart from my parents, I have great parents that always validate me and everything, but I never got external validation. You know what I mean? I never really got external validation. And that was, I felt wanted. I felt loved. I felt
On the basketball court?
on the basketball court, like I was the man, so to speak. And, I played my first year. I was bad, but I don't care. I didn't
Get
care.
you now, though, right?
Exactly. I'm the
Gotta
man.
start somewhere.
Third place in the U13 league. I was like, hey, we got our medals, even though we got blown out by 40, but we got our medals. I was so happy, all of us are posing like, hey. But I don't know what clicked. Like, I really, really, really loved basketball as a sport after that. And what that really brought out of me was my love for improvement. I really wanted to self-improve a lot. So one of my obsessions has always been to be able to dunk a basketball when I was a kid. I kept jumping, trying to touch rims and everything. And, when I was 13, in the 13 league, I touched the rim. I'm the man.
That's a big. I still can't touch the rim.
Well, I'll send you the 13-year-old Laith, the jump program. and it's just, I became really obsessed with self-improvement and self-development. And I have a fantastic dad. I love my dad so much. Shout out Khalid, the Khalid part in my life, Khalid Zalloum name. Shout out Baba, love you.
Yeah, anybody who knows anything about Arab names, like that middle name, that's our father's name. And my daughter, I just call her Nader Jr.
Congratulations. I just love every time somebody comes to me and they're like, oh, what's your middle name? I'm like, Khalid. I'm like, what, DJ Khaled? I'm like, yes. You know what?
Especially in Florida, like that's all you probably get.
DJ Khaled, I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, ooh, that's creative. What did your parents think? I'm like, nah, it's just my dad's name. Like, oh my, they're like, oh, my middle name is Tyler. I'm like, oh, okay, hi Tyler.
Ask them, where does Tyler derive from?
Yeah, like his parents probably had an argument. They're like, shit, what are we gonna name this kid? We're stuck between Josh and Tyler, and then like, they almost got a divorce over it, so like they named him Josh Tyler.
When they want to be creative, they call him Buster. So, how did you get recruited? Did you get recruited, or did you go try out for the Jordanian national team?
So the Jordanian national team, they recruit you from the league. So I actually have a great story about that, about the first time I was ever recruited for the national team. It was for the, age groups, for the youth, for like the youth 15. I, again, even though I thought I was, the man, but I sucked. I was still, the Jordanian national team still saw a lot of potential in me. And I'll never forget this. I was watching a men's league thing, like a pro game for my team, like the men's division of the club that I played for. And I was in the stands. And the same Hassan came to me, and my dad, we're sitting in the stands like, تعال يا كلب. تعال. Like, oh, what did I do? Like, again, everything. I just thought of everything wrong I've ever done in my life. And then I go down, and he grabs me by the ear and tells my dad, شايف الحمار هذا? Like, did you see this dummy? The Jordanian national team wants him. That, when I tell you I could not sleep that night, it was the absolute best moment of my life. We went there, we started out as 40. They kept cutting us down until we got to 12. And then I actually, by the time I was 15, we had an amazing team. We had probably the greatest team in Jordanian, like youth Jordanian national team history. And at that point, bro, we were unstoppable. We were beating men's teams. Like, Habibti, hi. Hi. MashaAllah, Allah yahmiha. But bro, like, it's just, it got to the point where we were so good. And we actually went to Iran, out of all places. Iran is a very interesting place to be in. It's really beautiful.
I was actually, it's funny, this summer, they were trying to get like a Palestinian national baseball team, and they were going to have a tournament in Iran.
No
But
way.
it got canceled because of COVID.
Bro, so in Tehran, which is where I was, they have the coolest thing. They have something called Olympic City. No joke. Maybe like 10 miles of like there's like 3 hotels, and there's everything for every sport you can imagine. It's literally like, it's bigger than any Olympic village like in Tokyo, bigger than any Olympic village anywhere. It was so dope. I was sitting there looking at it, like we stayed in like the Olympic Hotel, and like the Olympic Hotel, was like the rooms were like 2 stories. Have you ever seen anything like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the rooms were
Pictures.
like,
No, I haven't stayed in one.
yeah, like the rooms were like 2 stories. You had like a loft upstairs, and then you had you had like the living area and all that stuff down. And it was just so dope. And like, we would get like a police escort bus to like the games, and
That's
and,
great.
and all that dope stuff. Like they really, the best thing that basketball ever did for me was that it actually gave me confidence in myself when I needed it the most. I had none.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people that I've been interviewing for the sports edition,
Yeah.
it's a common theme. It's before they started their sport, lacked confidence, and then it made them happy. It was good for their mental health. So
It's Everyone needs to be able to do one thing that they're good at. Because like,
I agree with that. You got to figure out what it is and go after it.
no matter what it is, how big, how small, you just have to do it.
So how did then? So when you were playing club ball, that was in Jordan, obviously. When did you get like an invitation or get the opportunity to play in Bethlehem?
So I played in Bethlehem in 2019, December 2019. So when I signed my first ABA contract with the St. Augustine Glory, that kind of like made a few headlines in the Middle East. And
Yeah, it's not every day that you see. I mean, even like I think the highest like Palestinian in like the basketball world might be Mahmoud Abdel Fattah, who's the head coach of a G League team.
yeah, but
But
by
I
the way,
don't know anybody who's like so. Like what I'm saying is like
so
that's a
I,
huge achievement out here.
so I will say this: we do have some like Palestinian players that have really made us proud at like really high levels. Like we have, for example, Palestinian Jordanians mostly. We have Zaid Abbas, who's Jordanian national team legend. He just retired from international ball. He played in the CBA
Oh, that's awesome.
in China. Sam Douglas played in the CBA in China, and he was Mahmoud Abdel Fattah's assistant coach too.
That's crazy.
I love Sam. Me and
Were
Sam
you playing? You weren't playing on the Jordanian national team when he was coaching, were you?
No, not when Sam was
He was.
coaching.
He was before you got there.
Yeah, so Sam called me, but I couldn't leave.
Okay, that was back when Mahmoud was coaching with them.
No. So oh no. So I thought you were talking about Sam once, because Sam coached the Jordanian national team for a while.
Yeah. So did but so did I think Mahmoud did too. Or was that after Mahmoud left?
It was. So I don't know if Mahmoud ever coached in the Jordanian national team.
Yeah, he did. He did. I interviewed him a couple of years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he coached. I forgot what year. I think 2018 he was out there.
Oh.
I got to go back and look at the.
Okay. Yeah. I remember he came out very promptly. Yeah. No. I did not get to play, but Sam did call me that year.
Yeah, I think he's close with Mahmoud too.
Yeah. I couldn't leave. But like it's just
Small.
Really, yeah. It really just was one of those things where it's like, but also one person that should be noted, his name is Sunny Sekakini. You should look him up. Sunny Sekakini is a 6'8", 6'9", like power forward. He is the first Palestinian like actual professional basketball player. He's the first Palestinian player ever like, play a game against an NBA team. He's still out there balling in China. He's the reason why we have a good Palestinian national team.
Yeah, what is he? What? Why does he? What's his involvement in it?
Man, he's just one of the greatest basketball players in Middle Eastern history.
But I'm saying, does he still have any involvement with them, or because of what he did, he's inspired so many Palestinians?
So many. Like he's not very involved with the federation. I will have to say that unfortunately the federation is very corrupt.
With anything.
No, the Basketball Federation in Palestine is very corrupt. I'm probably like blackballing myself if they ever listen to this, but I don't care. They're very corrupt. I've seen them screw up a lot of players. I've seen them like almost intentionally, like nonchalantly ruin some stuff with the league. I've seen them, mishandle and mismanage so many things within the league. Because guess what? The Palestinian Premier League is by far one of the strongest leagues in the Middle East. By far one of the strongest leagues in the Middle East. It is so competitive. There is a lot of money to be made as a player. You get treated like royalty because Palestinians, especially in Bethlehem, they actually like just adore basketball. But which is what I'm gonna get to. Like, so when I ended up getting that call from the ABA, I'll never forget. The next day I was in an ice bath after a workout, and my WhatsApp ring. Like, I get a WhatsApp call from Abu Michael, Habibi Abu Michael. He's like, يعطيك العافية عمو. Laith Zalloum. I'm like, حبيبي تفضل. معك فؤاد الربيع من Orthodox Beit Jala. I'm like, أهلا وسهلا عمو. And it just went from there, and they flew me out. Or I played. So the deal that we had was, because of my school schedule, I was gonna fly out for 3 games in December, and then go back there in May 2020.
Oh wow.
So 3 games in December, they went well. They went very well. I was excited to go back, but then COVID shut down.
So is there any plans on going back, playing for them, or?
So I actually made one of my best friends in the world playing in Palestine. His name is Charlie Morra. Love that dude to death. I was talking to him this morning actually, and me and him were talking like from what he was telling me, like the team that he's playing for right now. They were talking about maybe like extending me an offer for this year. I said I'm not gonna be able to do it, but like if they do it next year, I promise I'll sign. Like I will sign.
What's that feeling like? The first time you stepped on a court in Palestine?
Unreal. The first time, like the first time I just stepped foot in Bethlehem in general. Like it was.
Was that your first time in Palestine, or had you visited before? Wow. So the first time you're going to go play there, professional basketball, that's amazing. That's awesome.
It was. So it gives you superpowers. It makes you feel like you're standing for something bigger than yourself.